Hello and welcome back to our YouTube channel. In the last episode we sailed from Karlshamn to Ekenes through the Blekinge-Archipelago. And in this episode we want to visit the islands Tjarö and Tärno. After a calm night and another warm and sunny morning, we started our journey to Tjarö. Ahead of us lay a stretch of about 9 nautical miles, and this is the second attempt to get a berth at the marina of Tjarö. We had a slow breeze from the south and launched. This time we came on a weekday, and so we found the berth easily. Tjarö was beautiful. It was very touristically, but only in the center. The island was large and with many small hiking trails. Do you want to tell us the story of the snake yesterday? There is not so much to tell. I jumped off a rock and nearly landed on a snake's butt. And instead of taking a picture, I used Google Lens to look for what a snake this was. And it said that it would be a black adder and it's venomous. And so I was a little bit too scared to follow the snake for taking a picture, and so that's why we did not have footage of this event.
Good morning.
Yeah, we are still in Tjarö. It's a very beautiful island.
Wunderschöne Insel.
And today we want to sail to Karlshamn. The forecast is about 14 to 16 knots from easterly directions, and this is still new to us with the boat, but I think we can manage this. Honestly, we are still nervous about these conditions, and so we try to prepare the boat as good as possible. So I put in the first reef in the mainsail and we stored the Genoa, so we will sail at first with the jib and look how it works. So, but enlarging the sail area will be easily anytime. So maybe we have been a little bit too worried about the strong wind, because it's not that hard. Isn't it? That's almost the always most important thing. At first the wind was no problem at all, but after leaving the relative protected bight we had to struggle with a little bit of sea state. Yeah, so the wind strength is exponential to its speed, so if you have the 2 times of wind speed, you have 4 times the strength. So it's good to have some speed in the sea state, otherwise it would be more uncomfortable. But this is really uncomfortable, but it should get better soon. Of course, you cannot use calculations for wind forces at buildings for sailing exactly, but it can still give you a clue. As we reached the cover of the inner route, the sea state decreased instantly, and we had a calm ride to Karlshamn. Now we are back in Karlshamn, and it's getting quite windy outside, and we have needed 2 attempts to dock the boat, because at the first attempt we saw at the last moment that it was a private berth and the outboard engine was close to the limit, pulling us backwards against the wind. After taking a short break and re-evaluating the situation, we docked the boat here. And now I want to see how strong the wind is. Now we have about 80 knots in the gusts, but I think there are even stronger ones. If you don't like see me cooking, then please do not switch off, it only takes a minute. Magali has gone to Karlshamn now to get some supplies, and I've stayed here with the dog.
And the wind is blowing very crazy now. And I have made some measurements, maybe we can do some again. And with this beautiful old anemometer, and I measured some gusts with about 26 knots. However, I made myself a little bit useful and did the laundry. And most of the time it's hanging horizontally in the wind, and so I hope it will be dry in the evening. So the forecast was about 40 knots, but I think now we have much more. In the next morning, the weather of the day before has calmed down, and now we had about 2 or 3 before from south to southwest, and so we started from Karlshamn to our next destination, Tärno, and this is one of the bigger islands, and it is located about 4 miles southeast of Karlshamn.
Guck mal hier, was das für Wellen jetzt schon sind, ey.
Ja. Oh, nicht gucken, dann merke ich auch. Oh, hello.
During the day, we anchored in the Big Bight north of Tärno and explored the island with our dinghy. Later that day, we gave up our anchorage and moved to the jetty on the east side of the islands, so we had a good and calm place for the night. Tärno was another highlight of our journey, and even if it was mentioned in the most travel guides like Tjarö, it was completely different. If it only could be used to generate electricity. Yeah, it's like going for a walk with Darth Vader. And also for the dog, the island was a highland, because she was so excited. Most of the time we did it that way, that we took the dog out for a long walk in the morning and played with him and entertained him so that he got tired at least. And we were able to sail without any landfall about 4, 5 or 6 hours.
Der Hund hat gerade seine postaquatischen Sumis.
Around midday we had rounded the island and got back on our way, because we had plans. Yeah, we are going back to Tjarö for eating ice cream. After we ate ice cream at Tjarö, we looked for a good anchorage and found one approximately 1 or 2 nautical miles away. And so we stayed there at the best weather for the afternoon. Unfortunately, the sea ground was very bad, and so the anchor dragged sometimes, and we were not able to discover the heart around us. And that is why we left this anchorage late in the evening and tried to get back to Boku. And while we were leaving the bight of Tjarö, we were confirmed by something we suspected before. I think that Tjarö is some kind of a sailor trap, because it's easy to reach with the wind but hard to leave. And it was the same this time, and we had to leave the bight by engine against the swell and the wind. And at Boku we wanted to try to dock the boat directly to the rocks. But when we were trying it, everything was a little bit hectic, so this is the only footage we have.
Ja. Das mache ich nicht.
But for the night it's crap.
Ja, wir sind angekommen, es schaukelt noch ein bisschen. Wir haben viel erlebt. Ein bisschen sehr viel. Ich bin ein bisschen sehr platt. 3-mal Motorprobleme, an verschiedenen Stellen geankert, auf verschiedenen Inseln gewesen. Motor nochmal Seil gefressen, durch Schlick gerudert, am Felsen fast angelegt.
Naja,
We did, but it was crap because the stern anchor dragged.
Ja. Wurde gegen Ende ein bisschen anstrengend, aber war trotzdem auch ein schöner Tag, auf jeden Fall sehr viel los.
Yeah, that's true. There was much going on today. It was very exciting. We've been today in Tärno and we've been today in Tjarö. I reached it hardly because the motor's starter rope was a mess, and then I looked for a new one, but I only found a rope which was much too thin, so the knot slipped, and then I have found another one, and I have done all this stuff again, and then it took me a long time to figure out how the spring is tightened, but at least I found out what was wrong, and it was of course how I used to start the engine, because you have to put the throttle in a specific position, and I haven't done this all the time, so it was my fault. Yeah, now we are anchoring here in the bight at Boku, and the ship is still rolling a little bit. We have enabled 2 anchor alerts, one time on the tablet and one on the smartphone.
Tablet einmal habe ich jetzt noch auf dem Handy-Ding gestellt und
Steffen hätte mir vorhin noch fast den Anker auf den Fuß geworfen. Das ist auch noch passiert.
Yeah, that happened. In the mess, the anchor slipped off and hit the ground very close to her feet, and that was very bad. That would have been a very painful and dangerous situation if the anchor had hit the feet. Yeah.
Gute Nacht.
Good morning. We have been at an anchorage close to Boku for the night, and today it's unfortunately time to say a first little goodbye to the Blekinge-Archipelago, because we are sailing west today and try to reach Pukkavik or something else there in the bight. And yeah, so this is Boku and the bight of Boku.
Bucht, sondern auf die Boku-Bucht. Das ist Boku.
And this over there is an island, I do not know its name. On this day we had about 15 to 20 knots of wind, and maybe it was a fortune that we did not know how the water looks like out of the protected archipelago. Yeah, we are on our way, and it's very windy and it's very bumpy.
Ja, das stimmt.
Retrospective, and especially for experienced sailors it wasn't that hard, but for us it was the most excited experience we have made with this boat until then, with the weather, the wind and the sea. And maybe, as you know, the calm sea does not make good sailors. Here at this moment we just had passed Karlshamn, and now we are in the protection of the Listerlandet Peninsula. It's the land over there. The wind and especially the sea sails have decreased. Yeah, and another day is coming to its end. We are in Gunön here, and it could be very beautiful if there wasn't this carpet of moldy, I don't know, poles, elk, whatever, and it has a little bit the consistence of liquid manure and even the smell of it. And we parked in the middle of this shit. And yeah, that's it. You don't have to sugarcoat this we parked in liquid manner. That's it. It's pushed by the wind into the bight at the moment.
So, morgen erstmal das Boot putzen danach.
Yeah, this is a crazy place here. The harbor belongs to the Brooks Boat Club, but I'm not sure if there's still so many activity. And there's also a campsite, and there is going on much. There are a lot of people, and there are also a lot of video cams all around here, and maybe all this had belonged once to this big factory you can see sometimes in the background. It sounded a little bit like that as we talked to some people here today. And there was a very kind guy who managed the payment for the harbor fees via Swish. I think Swish is some kind of payment system like PayPal, but you need a Swedish bank account for this, and so we do not have one. And he paid for us via Swish, and I wanted to give him the money, but he does not want to have it.
If you ever see this video, thank you very much for this. Yeah.
I hope you liked the video, and if you want to support our work, then please subscribe our channel and leave us some comments, and I hope that you are looking forward for the next episode, so stay tuned.